I am so excited this week on Behind the Scenes with Bourbon. We have the one, the only Representative Susie Lee from Las Vegas, Nevada. And this is so exciting because not only talk about bourbon, but when we said let's talk about bourbon, you said I've got a drink I want to make. So tell us what we're going to do.
All right,
for your drink.
this is the famous Paper Plane, and my good friend Francesco taught me this drink, and it's become a Team Lee favorite. So it is very simple to make, equal parts of every ingredient. So let's get started.
Let's get started.
Okay. Start with the Aperol.
Yeah.
And this is Amaro Nonino, Italian, very nice. And of course, the main ingredient. And there you go. Lemons in here. All right. And then here it is.
So you don't serve it over ice or anything, you just serve it.
Yep, just serve it straight up.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That's delicious.
It's a great drink.
I'm so glad you came on because you're the first person who's made a drink for Behind the Scenes with Bourbon. And it tells you, like we pride ourselves on being a foodie city, and obviously a lot of bourbon and a lot of history with spirits in Kentucky. But Las Vegas has a great scene for food, and also, I mean, tell me about the drink scene there.
Well, absolutely. I mean, Las Vegas has become a mecca for food and drink, and really it sort of started in the 90s. Before that, most casinos ran their own food and beverage. With the beginning, mostly with Bellagio, they began to establish partnerships with well-known restaurateurs across the country. We had Le Cirque from New York, and the list just grows on and on. Tao Group, I mean, you name it. Any restaurant that has a major presence now has a presence in Nevada. And Francesco had his Mr. Coco's, which was a big cocktail bar, and obviously mixology has become a big part of the scene as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's so cool because you used to think of Las Vegas, you just go there for casinos. Now it's the shows, it's the food, it's everything else.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, it used to be 80% gaming, 20% non-gaming. Now it's almost 50-50 in terms of the revenue breakdown. Our restaurants and the scene and entertainment is just as important as the gaming.
Once you're here, and this is something I think is so cool, people might not know about you, is one of my favorite things to see is if I'm walking up from my apartment coming up New Jersey and to watch this bicycle fly by in a flash of color, and I go, there's
Susie Lee on her bike. That's right.
Tell me about that.
First of all, it's the fastest way to get around DC.
Yeah.
And
it
really is. To me, it's just about speed. It's just easier to get to and from places on your bike. It's better for the environment, better for your health. Why not?
And you ride everywhere.
Pretty much, yeah. I rode down to see the Secretary of the VA this morning.
And what I love is when you see Susie on her bike, she is wearing exactly what you will see her on the floor. And one time I looked, I think you were coming behind Longworth, and you had on some billowy shirt or something. I'm just watching.
My like butterfly shirt, yeah.
Just fabric flying out behind you, and the bike and the helmet, and there you're.
That was a good look.
It was good. It was great. It was great. And you're here too. You're on appropriations.
Yeah.
Right. Which is so. As I'm thinking about like, okay, I'm in my first term. What does Congress look like? People will tell you all the time. There's authorizers and there's appropriators.
Yes.
What is that difference? Like, because I don't think people understand.
Yeah, people don't understand it. So you pass a bill like the PACT Act, right, which has presumed eligibility for our veterans who were exposed to burn pits, Agent Orange, but you need money to pay for those benefits, and that's what appropriators do. We allocate the money. And in fact, it was interesting during this appropriations process this time, our counterparts on the other side of the aisle, who were in the majority, actually tried to cut the money out of the PACT Act. And it was in our subcommittee where we made it known to all those veterans who thought they were going to get these benefits that if the Republicans had passed the bill that they wanted, that those benefits that we said would be guaranteed weren't going to be there. They eventually put that funding back into the bill. But so we make sure that you authorize the bill, and then the appropriators fund it with the funding.
So is it too simple an analogy? Say, like you saw, I've got my 4-year-old up here with me today. So if I say, yes, you can have ice cream, then someone actually has to go with her to the store
buy the ice cream,
and pay for the ice cream.
And buy the ice cream,
right?
right?
And without that final step,
that's right.
there is no, despite the authorization.
That's right. To
There's
figure
no ice
out,
cream.
what kind of ice cream,
Yeah.
where are you going to buy it? That's right.
How much is it going to cost?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So from paper planes to ice cream,
We've covered all of government.
We've covered Congress. What is your favorite thing about being here?
Oh my gosh, that every day is a new day, and there's so much to learn, and there's so much that, we have every expert in the world at our fingertips, and I find that fascinating. I find people fascinating, whether it's other members of Congress, or constituents who come meet with me, whether they're talking about some illness that maybe one of their loved ones has or they have that they need some research funding for, or whether they're advocating for, free school lunches, whatever it is. Listening to people's personal stories, I find incredibly energizing and fascinating.
Yeah, and
how about you?
Well, I'm the same way. But we came from, I think we look at it the same way from different backgrounds. Because I was in the state senate for 10 years before coming here, and love it. Again, love the pace, love that every day you're encountering different problems and finding out about different things, and people are telling you, how can I help you? This is your first elected office.
That's right.
But you came out of the nonprofit world.
Yeah.
Which is somewhat similar to that, I think, right? Where you have people are kind of saying, I've got a problem, how do we solve it? How do we find the money for it? What's the problem? How do we define it? And I love that aspect of it up here.
I do. I love the nonprofit world because you can see the results of what you're doing immediately. Like, if you're helping a family with lunch, I did a nonprofit that helped kids graduate from high school and dealt with students living in poverty. So if they needed help with buying books or help with food, you could actually see the impact, help paying rent, all of that. But what I found and what I find with nonprofits is there's systemic issues, whether it is not, having paid family leave, not having livable minimum wage, not having access to affordable health care, affordable child care, and all of those issues get solved here. And so, while I loved having that immediate impact of being a nonprofit director, knowing that the problems I was trying to address, there's systemic problems that we need to address, and that's why I ran for office.
This is something we ask everybody. Love music.
Okay.
And in Las Vegas, you get tons of great music.
I know.
So what was the first concert you ever went to, and what was the last concert you went to?
Oh, that's easy. All right. My first concert that I went to was the Eurythmics at the Blossom Music Center in Akron, Ohio.
That's
Annie Lennox.
Lennox,
It was
Sweet Dreams Are Made of These.
Yeah, it was incredible. Outdoors in the summer, about this time of year. My last concert was Bruce Springsteen, actually, here.
Here in D.C.
In D.C., yeah.
Whether you're in the nonprofit world or as an appropriator here in Congress, or riding your bike down to see the Secretary of the VA this morning already, Susie Lee tackles Congress, and she makes a great drink, and I am so grateful that you came on and shared some of it with us today.
All right, well, we're glad to have you here, Morgan.
Cheers.
It's a great drink. I like it in the winter, and I like it in the summer.
I like it too much.
I know.